just gonna point out the things I see wrong with these NASA moon mission videos. It's plain to see when we look at it with a critical eye, you can see the goofy things that are fake. I'm saying nobody went to the moon. Space flight is not possible. Space isn't real the way they tell us. Earth is flat. And here we're going right into it. Watch this. You see this stuff coming off? Okay. They're saying that what happened was when they... Hold on. No. What they're saying is that when they took off and got into space, they encountered their first problem, which was paint chipping off these pieces here. But before we get to that, I want to just point out. See this rocket taking off? They always, whether you're watching SpaceX or any space mission, you got a real rocket taking off. That's fine. But then you cut away from the action, seeing some guys doing something else, and then boom, we're in space. Hold on, I gotta do something. Be right back. So where's the part where they went from here to here? How'd we get there? Where's the middle part? You know, they don't show you because that's where the fakery happens. This now here we're already in like a some kind of a studio or a little movie set. This thing isn't even a spaceship with people inside. I'm seeing right here. This looks like cardboard, like a piece of paper. This is the real spaceship on its way to the moon, and it looks to me like a little toy model that's hanging from a string, and maybe inside of some kind of a black box with no light and one light source coming from here, and they just did a lousy job. Here I'm looking at a piece of cardboard or construction paper taped to some kind of square frame with a little hole. They're supposed to be inside there, but the thing is, what is these wrinkly stuff going on here? What is that how we prepare a spaceship going to the moon? There's no way it can look like that. And there's nothing you can say to people who believe this stuff that'll wake them up. Because I've pointed that out to guys who are NASA fanboys, and they love space, and they feel proud that America went to the first or only to go to the moon, whatever. And they just say, well, there's no atmosphere in space, so the construction of the ship didn't need to be rugged. It can just be made out of paper. It doesn't matter. But if it's not rugged, if it doesn't need to be built to last, how is it that... You see what he says? Paint's flaking off. Hold on, let me switch off this other video. Okay. Let's see that again. Watch again.
3-day flight to lunar orbit, the problems encountered had been more annoyances than critical, such as paint flaking off the lunar module, and later a jammed antenna in one of...
Okay, so you heard him say it. This is a documentary of the real Apollo 16 moon mission, and the first problem they encounter is paint chipping off the lunar module. So what the hell happened? Did they use the cheap stuff that chipped off later? They went down to Home Depot, and there was a bucket for $18.99, and there was a bucket for $5.99, and they said, give me that $5.99 bucket. We'll save a few bucks, and we'll just slap the paint on there. It should be fine. But whoops, it wasn't fine. It chipped off. But I thought there wasn't any atmosphere in space that would have caused it to chip off. So that's weird. And there's more to it than that. Now maybe, what if it got loosened up when they were on the rocket that was blasting off, and then the heat and stuff kind of damaged the paint, and now it's finally coming off. Still, I don't know what would have pushed it off in space, because now we're in no more atmosphere at all. So that doesn't make any sense. If you want to say it came off, okay. But here's another problem.
The problems encountered had been
Look how slow it's going.
critical.
This is the paint.
Flaking off the lunar module.
Look how slow that's going. What? I thought they were going like 25,000 miles an hour. What's escape velocity from gravity? 25,000 miles an hour. I've also heard the number 17,000 miles an hour thrown around. I'm pretty sure it's 25,000. So this thing's going 25,000 miles an hour, but these paint chips are coming off the speed of, like, slower than me riding on my bike.
All in all,
if paint was chipping off my bike, it would be coming off faster than that. These things should be going like you shouldn't even see it. It should be so fast. But no.
All in all, it had been a quiet, and later a jammed.
Look at that. Look how slow. How fast are they going? So I'm telling you, what I think this was, is that when they were putting this phony baloney together, they said, you know, we got to make it look like there's some stars in the background as we're flying by them, and they need to be passing by. But then the problem was not the paint chipping off. The problem was, for one reason or another, it didn't quite look right. So they decided to ditch that. They decided to scrap that idea. We're not going to have stars. Maybe they think we could have busted them sooner, or too hard to make it look authentic as far as the constellations and positions go. But I don't know. Guys will believe anything. But for whatever the reason, they scrapped that idea of it being stars shooting by as they're traveling through space, because that's how it looks to me. And they said, well, but it's kind of a neat effect, and people have pride in their work, and they don't want to let things go. So they said, let's just say it was paint coming off of the, let's say it was paint flaking off the lunar module, and then we can add a little drama to the whole story, that it's a little bit dangerous and rugged in this, brave new frontier, and we're encountering our first problem, some paint coming off, but the brave NASA astronauts will power through any problem. Later on, there's other troubles too if you watch the whole video, but I just wanted to bring attention to those couple things. The rocket taking off here, and then we end up here, but never any transition from space, from takeoff to blue skies to getting a little darker and then black space. And how come we can't turn the camera around and watch the Earth kind of getting smaller and smaller as we travel this way to the moon? The Earth is getting left behind this way, getting smaller and smaller. We've never seen any of that. All the stuff we see is just like one set camera, one frame, and then a little bit of action in here. Real easy to control. Because what's on the other side of this, looking in, is just a guy working the model. That's all it is.